Can you all hear me? Hello, I'm very pleased to be there, and I'd like to thank the organization for setting up this beautiful meeting. I'm a molecular biologist and biochemist. I usually study very detailed molecular mechanisms, but it's not what I'm going to tell you because I'm stepping it from a colleague, Paul Hoffman, who just before going into the plane got one of the most terrible flu, although he's a medical doctor, so he could not make it, and I step in to tell about his project that is an university hospital, that is an institute I'm going to describe you, that is on basically what would be aging and lung pathology. And coming to aging and youth, I think I was there yesterday, and what I discovered is that most of the people, even young, old, and so on in India, were pretty jumpy and young because of the victory against New Zealand. So congratulations to all. That was a great moment for me as well to watch that and ending. Okay, IHU stands for University Hospital Institute. This is a structure that is awarded by the French government and French presidents. And this one is about respiratory diseases and aging, and I'm going to try to outline how it works. So it's not into the mechanisms, but more into how we try to put things together in our university. And one of the basic questions is why do we need something about respiratory problems and this kind of stuff in Nice, while we are supposed to be on the Côte d'Azur and enjoying a nice weather and a very, very cool environment. And I think there are two reasons. First, the ecosystem here is very particular. Côte d'Azur is beautiful. We have beaches and so on, and like in other places in the world, there are many, many retired people. In terms of demography, we are way ahead. Basically what happens in France and in Europe. We have a lot of 65 and over years old. When I was a young PI, it was kind of depressing. Now I don't notice it anymore because probably I'm going to quite slowly to the same kind of age, so everybody looks young for me. But obviously, this is the kind of problem where we go, and as my colleague told before, we know the cancer onset and aging problem comes with age here as well. The second stuff is that Riviera looks completely different from other urbanized cities, but it turns out that the south of France, beware if you come visiting us, is one of the most polluted area by I would say small, fine particles that come from combustions of gasoline and of different kind of things. And the reason you can see here from the picture taken from the plane, there's the coast, but just behind there are the mountains that catch the air that kind of gets prisoner. So Nice is number 2 in the most polluted cities in France, between Paris and Nancy. It doesn't have to do that much with industrial activity, but also with just the geology and so on. So we kind of combine this kind of polluted stuff with kind of elderly people and an elderly population here. And if you look at the map of the most polluted cities that have more than 6 bad days in a row, etc., this goes with all this area in the south and a little bit in Paris and northern industrial cities. And lung cancer incidence, you see that we are quite badly in the red with Lyon, Grenoble, and so on. So there's a huge health problem that we discussed that we have to solve. And this is why there's this kind of institute that we have now. And especially now, you see we are, our city, Nice is there, is within the European Green Deal, the smart cities, but I keep on, when I come to India, thinking that, okay, why did we put so much concrete and cut all the trees basically in our city? We try to do our best with few areas, but we kind of got rid of a lot of vegetation and stuff like that. So we are more prone also to pollution and this kind of pathologies. And for that, what was awarded last year was this University Hospital Institute called RespirERA for respiratory disease in environmental aging and health, that with a seed funding of about 20 million euros by the French government to promote this kind of approach. And this is super important because the first cause of hospitalization in patients in Nice is respiratory problems coming from all kind of them. So what we want to build is this kind of ecosystem, my university and my colleagues, where if you want to study respiratory diseases connected to aging and cancer, you have to be in this. And for that, what you have to do is to network. So we are networked with several institutions and cities and hospitals in France. And in our network here, we have the hospital, the university, INSERM, that is the National, I would say, Institutes of Health, Inria, that is the National Institutes for Computing, Cancer Center, Pediatric Hospital, plenty of research teams and institutes that gather together. And also, what is important also, I'm going to talk later, is the chain of value of how do you go from lab discoveries and so on to what would be molecules or treatment or prevention stuff that you can deliver. And of course, this has to be connected with a whole wide world network. And here are connections that we have that is in the consortium on lung cancer, international consortium. We are part of the Human Cell Atlas project on lung and also on European actions, for example, on autophagy. And here are the kind of places where we are working at present and collaborating. So 6 big pillars: pollution, microbiome, global warming, climate change, a kind of holistic approach to the disease, the patients. As we say, it's really connected to aging and to the population. And then, okay, you have to do with prevention and interception before things turn bad and it's too late and you have really to struggle with the cancer. And also, how do you detect that? There are many ways, but what has been developed is biobanks and also non-invasive biomarkers as well. And on the pillars that we are working at, first, there are the fundamental labs that are in the universities and the institute. The idea is to decipher the molecular mechanisms of pathology from exposome to senescence. I would say classical chronic respiratory disease that can be acquired or genetic and so on. The hallmarks that lead then to cancer. And for that, the key results that we are kind of working on, this institute is working on, is to do these lung cell atlases with all the possible marker and see the origin in different cell populations of the respiratory diseases. Try to work at a fingerprint of exposome using different kind of omics techniques on patients, and to also identify, because of their localization, as I said, who is at risk and what are the populations that are at risk, and then work on different kind of personalized tumor treatments. Here it's kind of summarize a few tools that are there. We have a huge biobank that is on I would say, cancer tissue and tissues in lungs that is labelized by different body for quality. There's all this work on the patient assessment, on exposome, genetic polymorphism, and then coupled to AI to do prognosis. And also a strong development of public-private partnerships with the biopsies taken from patients to build air liquid interface tissues, replica of tissues, and screen a whole bunch of molecules to go to new compounds. What I think also is important for all of us is the data integration and analysis, where people are strongly working at, and from, I would say, clinical data, exposome, social exposure, patient history, to what could be signature, and looking at trying to find biomarkers, and then to go to personalized therapies. And for that, we are widely using the computing that we are on the site also in our area. Last point is about, I try to catch up with the time. The last point that I think is important is training and teaching on the future specialists. And for that, we have developed different projects. First, we have our university is one of the 9, I would say, IDEX labs. So that is the best research intensive and teaching intensive in France. So we can put significant money on training. We are part of an European network named Ulysseus, with people from I would say south of Spain to Finland, and coming to data and training people on data. We are also one of the 9 AI artificial intelligence clusters, and we got about 8 million euros to develop innovative teaching on that. From this on, we can have a whole bunch of training, and I would just raise attention of, but Paula, my colleague, will talk about that later, about the recent European funding we got on aging to train master students on that, where we got about 4 million euros to make a joint master Erasmus Mundus project where people in Europe, but also outside Europe, could go and attempt to follow these courses. And as a result, we want to both train, I would say, students in a kind of intensive way, both medical students and scientific students, attract talents, but also train patients and train population people to be in a healthy way of life, and also to participate to their treatment and to take, their kind of condition with knowledge on what happens. And this comes also with sharing, communicating, and so on. And the last point also, I say it's super important in the training of students and of people to teach them entrepreneurship quite early on, so that we can bridge the gap on that. Okay, last point, I think, and I think I'm kind of made the time pretty well. I hope I was not too fast, so in case, don't hesitate to ask any question. But I think what is important is that we are very interested also to develop connections, not only with European and American countries, for different reasons. First, it's very nice to have friends all over the world and to be able to work with many colleagues. But also, I think we had interesting differences and parallels with India. This is the age pyramid I could Google from India. Although, as explained this morning, there are probably many old people now, but based on the size of the population compared to the French one. This is how it looks in France, and in Nice we would be even more larger in this area, as I explained you. So stratification of the population is very different. We have also, and then we share common points that can be, I would say, urban pollution. We have very dense cities, and it could be interesting to track exactly what are the kind of respiratory pollutants, small size particle, large one, and so on, and what is the exposome, and compare the exposome of the people, also with the age differences. And I think also what we share, and I was really happy to listen to that, is of course we share excellent scientific infrastructure, research, and so on. But from what I heard, especially this morning, about healthy aging and addressing both the mechanisms, the societal issues, the demographic issues, and so on, it seems that we're kind of working in a kind of similar spirit, which kind of makes sense and is pretty interesting. So that would be great, and would really be super happy and interested if there could be some collaboration on aging and respiration problems and cancer and so on. And also what we share since a few years, and it has been a lot of fun to do together, is we commonly have a Franco-Indian campus on life and health sciences that is with two main aspects. One is, I would say, data and AI and so on in life science and medicine. And the second part is on the mechanism and therapeutic innovation, so that we have these two feet where we can all work together to build collaboration. And those are the institution, as I said, the hospital, Inria, CNRS, and the university, and so on, and the people who are the founders of this this project on the respiratory disease, aging, and cancer, especially Paul, who could not be here and is heading this project. And from now on, I think I'm catching up pretty well. So I thank you very much for your attention. It was not that much into mechanisms that I love also, but more about how we envision the things to bridge gaps between aging, disease, and basic knowledge, and also, I would say, training. And thank you very much for your attention. And I think I could save time for a little bit of question in case, and be happy to discuss after. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lawrence, for keeping track of time. Questions? The floor is now open for questions. Audience has questions for both the speakers, if I may. You have left enough time for questions for both the speakers, the previous and the current. First, we'll take questions for Professor Laurent. Any questions from the audience? There.
This the age distribution of your population is kind of striking.
Yes, what?
Yeah, a lot of I guess retired people, and so I imagine they're coming from other places. And then if you layer their life history on top of your lung cancer incidence, do you still see a relationship between, I guess, lived environment and like a bad air quality, for instance?
I think, there are several things that, first I have to say that this is not something that has been in France really overlooked in a systematical manner. I think the data were kind of scarce on that. And part of it is that many people, they go to I would say the information system in the hospitals, in the private medical practices are very different. And now there's a whole work to kind of harmonize that we have in our hospital, but that is not the case in many countries of France. So there's a whole effort on that, and just for the respiratory disease and so on, now this institute will be in charge of putting the whole computing system for the whole country. So that's a huge task, but in the end, we hope that we can operate that. Then coming to our territory, it's super interesting because we have this band on the coast that is quite narrow and that concentrate probably between 1.5 million people. And some are living in kind of the wealthy area. Those are the wealthy retired people coming that had nice jobs and then can get a nice retirement and took care of their health. And then there is also the people who are working there in industries, in factories, and living in area that are kind of more polluted and that are maybe with a self behavior that has their inner exposome is they are more smoking with heavier weight and don't do exercise and so on. So we have these two populations. And then just uphill, there are mountains. And in mountains, we have small cities that have been kind of being deserted. And what does stand is the old people who spent all their life there and who were not exposed basically because they are above 1,000 meters to all these kind of pollutants that are here. So the project has been also, I would say, awarded because we have these very differences in population to explore and we have about 30,000 people in one of these projects to really get all their data and also biological and medical data to look at what happens. So I probably can give you the answer in about 10 years, but you're absolutely right. It's super important and interesting to have this kind of mixed population as well.
Just one more question.
Hi, Professor. My name is Anshuman, and I have a special connection with France as well because I was there and MBA from there and so on and so forth. Now, I am also working in the cancer space. Now, with respect to you, picked only one cancer type, which was lung cancer. And probably that is the biggest problem that you're trying to solve.
Yeah.
But in general, the cancer space in France, what are some of the, let's say, demand side problems that you see and the supply side constraints that you see? And where you see that, or where do you feel that technology would come and then solve this demand side?
That's a tough question to reply. You mean how is the cancer incidence in general?
You spoke about one cancer type.
Yeah, what cancer type? Yeah.
Breast cancer.
Yeah.
Everyone is, I think, kind of specializing in.
Of course. And then we need meetings like that to get together. My own feeling, but I'm a biochemist. I'm a stubborn biochemist. I may be wrong, so don't take that as an answer. But what I think happens is that we see more and more cancer in considered young people in Europe and in the States, gut cancer, lung cancer and so on, that are touching now people that are in their 30s. And this is, I think, that what is both interesting, I would say, scientifically, because I suspect that the way mutation will accumulate, that's exactly what you said about the multiple hit theory. It won't work. You may not find the same in somebody who having some tumor being 30 and somebody being 70. So this raises important question. And then from that, maybe the therapeutics will not be the same. So we have really, I think, maybe I shouldn't say that in an aging meeting, but I think now the disease, cancer and so on of young people, that can be mirrored to what happened to old people. We need probably to know both, are something that are important if you want to understand and to look at the epidemiology and to design future treatments. I don't know if I replied to your question, but I think that's probably one of the things we are seeing in Europe and that is worrying.
More, I wanted to.
In the interest of time, maybe have this conversation later. Thank you so much, Professor Laurent, for that wonderful talk. And we'll move on to the next speaker now.